Welcome to another edition of Real Talk with Real People, a candid conversation with Dr. Karoline and Bethea-Jones. One of my favorite pastimes is talking to people. I love talking to people. It brings out the best in me. I especially like talking to people who, like me, are not afraid to get out there and live their best life. My guest tonight is exactly that. She has a BBA in accounting and an MBA in change management. She has worked in investment reporting, fraud investigations, and internal audit throughout her whole entire career. She is a certified fraud examiner and a certified internal controls auditor. And she is currently a fraud audit manager for a large bank. My guest tonight is Karen Everett. Karen is a life member of Kappa Sorority, Inc. and a founding member of the Black and Hispanic Alumni Association at Hofstra University, where she earned her undergraduate degree. But that's not all. Karen is a marathoner, a triathlete, a foodie, and a frequent traveler. And guess what? She even owned her own travel agency once upon a time, which we're hoping is going to happen again. So she is my guest today on Real Talk, a candid conversation with Dr. Karoline and Bethea-Jones, and I am Dr. Karoline and Bethea-Jones, your host. And tonight, my co-host is Mr. Alban Jones Sr., but everyone calls him AJ, and you can too. So I'm going to give him a few minutes to introduce himself to our listening audience. Mr. Jones.
Hey, what more is there to say? I'm just your TLC tonight. I'm that passenger in the side seat, just chilling out and just going to help make this conversation move along because this woman is one of my favorite women.
Yes.
I have to tell you that we met way back. I don't want to show our age, but black don't crack, so we can talk about it. And if you really think about this, we met almost 30 years ago. If we get to 2025, because I met her in like 1995.
Oh my.
When I joined MI.
Wow.
That's the first time I ran across this woman. And guess what, folks? She ain't changed yet. So I'm about to change because just shy of my 42nd year, this time next month, tomorrow would be the 7th. On the 7th of July, I will be retiring. So I will finally walk away from 42 years at my job. And then the following week, on July 14th, I'll be walking across the stage at Albany, New York, from Excelsior University, getting my Bachelor of Science in Liberal Arts. So I can put some stuff behind my name, like she got stuff behind her name.
Yes! Okay? But that's what I'm talking about, living your best life. And that's what we're talking about here today, living your best life.
But it's my pleasure to be a part of this conversation. As I said, you folks are in for a treat because this woman is powerful. She has a glow and an aura about her. I think everyone that meets her and that has been impacted by her will say the same words I'm saying. Yeah. And especially if we go through our MI family, where we spent quite a bit of time together. She was one of those who pulled me in and helped lift me up and grow me up because I was rough when I walked in that door. They all had to breathe on me to make me something special. And she took some time with me. So it's my pleasure to have this conversation with my wife, Karoline, and Miss Karen Everett.
Yes, yes. Karen, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I am so honored to be here with you guys. You're one of my favorite couples. AJ cuts up a whole lot.
And he's going to cut up tonight.
You, Karoline, you were like, wait, how? Why? How are you with this person?
I know. And it's so funny. Everyone asked me that. Oh my gosh, this is crazy.
Oh man, but yeah, we've had some good times. I know that anytime that I need something, I know when my brother was writing his book, I'm like, I got the person for you. She published, she wrote books, and you jumped right in there and helped out and everything. You guys are a wonderful, wonderful couple. And I think AJ is lying. It couldn't have been 1995, but we're going to roll with that. We're going to roll with it.
Okay. So Karen, tell us a little bit more about yourself. I mean, like, Okay, now I've seen all these impressive titles and stuff, but what does that mean? Because, like, what do you do in the daytime? Break it
In
down.
the daytime, I have this gig that pays for me to afford getting on planes, which is what I really want to do. By day, I am an internal auditor for a large bank, and more specifically, I'm on the fraud team. So I am looking for fraud across the enterprise. And I deal most especially with consumer and small business. So a lot of what I'm looking for and what helps the public, including myself, because I'm also a customer or client of the bank. That's the area that I'm looking for and attacking fraud.
And can I ask you, do you do that strictly with this bank, or does that allow you to reach across the spectrum with other banks as you're doing these type investigations?
No, just with this bank. They are very territorial.
Okay, okay.
Just with this bank, and it is consumer fraud and small businesses. So the audits that I conduct would cover, for instance, if you got a call from the bank that there was some suspicious activity on your credit card, let's say. So the area and the things that I audit would be that process that allows the bank to be notified that, AJ, you're in New Jersey, but we saw your card being swiped in Wisconsin. And, we don't see a plane ticket attached with that. Was that you type of thing?
Okay.
And right now I'm working on a special project, a consent order. And that means that the regulators came in and they've identified something that we need to work on and we need to fix. So, it's very helpful. It makes sure that the bank is doing what it's supposed to do for its clients at all times. We'll leave it with that. So it's interesting.
It does sound interesting.
Yes. I do enjoy it. And in the beginning stages, it allowed me to travel, because when you're doing audits with different places, you would actually travel to that location. Since the pandemic, we've not traveled. They've discovered, hey, they can actually do their job sitting at their desk.
Wow.
So we have not traveled, but I'm looking forward to getting back to that, because that's really my passion. I just want to be gone.
Yes, I know that's your passion, and we're going to talk all about your passion, because we know you like to travel. We see you getting on those planes. We see it. We see it all. Okay. So something very interesting, a marathoner. Oh my God. Let's talk about that, because I know.
Yeah.
Let me say this. This is the one that got me, because when we first met, there was never no mention of walking and running. And I mean, we'd walk around the complexes we were at and do those type of things. But there was nothing about, starting to do any type of distance running. Then all of a sudden, these little app pictures start popping up. Oh, I'm doing 2 miles here. I'm doing 5 miles here. I'm doing, and consistent. Then all of a sudden, I'm going to do a half marathon. What? Next thing you know, she's going to do a full. Where did this come from?
Right. I don't know. As a matter of fact, my brother, when I started running, and it started as an accident, a friend of mine was here, and there's like an office park that's not far from here. And she would meet up with a bunch of people and they would run around the office park. And I think one time around was like a mile and change. And so I met up with her one day and, ran around, and one of the guys kind of stuck with me and was like, oh no, let's keep doing it. Let's do it again, run around again. And I'm looking at him like, you're crazy. I'm not doing it. And he convinced me to stay. And that's kind of where it started. So from there, I joined an organization, Black Girls Run. And we would go out as a group and run, and the mission, no woman left behind. So, I went straight from running just a mile, maybe a mile and a half, to 3, and then went to 6 miles. And I was like, wait a minute, I didn't get to ease into, and then it became a passion. I started running every day.
Yeah.
And I remember my first 5K, which is 3.1 miles. My brother came, and it's at the racetrack, NASCAR is here. So they had the race on the track, and he came and he was there as I hoisted myself across the finish line, thought I was going to die. And he made the comment, oh, next is a half marathon. And I was like, that's 13.1 miles. Are you kidding me? I'm nobody. You need a car for that. he recorded it. Maybe a year later, hey, guess what? I'm doing my first half marathon. Guess what he emailed me? That recording of me saying, you know. And then, you know, there's this saying, well, if you could do a half marathon, you can do a full. Yes. No one ever ran 13 miles and then decided 26 miles, 26.2 miles. Let's not forget the 0.2.
That's right.
Is easy to do. Next thing I know, I was doing a half marathon a month. So in 2014, I did 12 half marathons. Wow. And it was an average of one a month. And that was a difficult one because that was also the year that my dad passed away. Yeah. So he passed away, and toward the end of the year in October, you know, the last half of the year, I really wasn't training because I would go to, they lived 3.5 hours away. So I would leave Friday morning, drive 3.5 hours to help my mom, you know, take care of him and relieve him. And then I'd come back Sunday evening. So there was no training. And so it's significant to me because he knew that I was doing these half marathons and he believed in me. He bought me a little charm for, you know, 13.1. The night he passed away, I was actually at their house because my marathon was not far from there. So I made that the pit stop. And I was supposed to be leaving that night for a race that next morning. And he wasn't doing too well. So, you know, of course, I canceled and didn't go. And he actually passed away that Friday. And that was in October. So now I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm not going to hit my goal, right? Because it's been a struggle all along. I'm doing 13-mile races with no basically. But my brother would not let that stand. He found a race. So in November, I did 2 races to make up for the one that I missed in that October. And when I finally finished it and did that race in December, I was in tears because, you know, I knew the struggle that it was to do it throughout the year when my dad was sick and I'm trying to help take care of him. And then he passed away and I still finished the goal. Yeah. So those 13 miles, 12 times for 2014 are very special to me. And then somewhere in there, I got the bright idea, well, you know, let's do a marathon. And I don't know what I was thinking. And so I kind of killed 2 birds with 1 stone with the marathon because I wanted to do an international race. Mm-hmm. So that marathon was actually completed in British Columbia, Canada. Okay. Yeah, I think the training for the race is worse than the race. Oh, yeah. Because I would be up and out running at 5 o'clock in the morning, dark 30 in the morning. Doing 18 miles, you know, and then during that time, my nephew was also playing football and soccer. So I would have to be finished running on Saturday morning in order to be to his games, which were usually around 10, 11 o'clock. So that means I'm out there running at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning so I can get 18 miles in to be finished to get over there. So I would be in a fast food place, washing up in the bathroom, washing up to change my clothes to go to his game. And I literally cried when I crossed the finish line for those 26.2. Those were some hard-earned miles. Caught a cramp somewhere around mile 17 or so and didn't think that I was going to make it. So the fact that I actually finished it was big for me. And I haven't run one since.
But you did it once.
Exactly. I did it once.
Yeah.
I've signed up for
them. I'm going to give you credit for that.
Yeah, I signed up for several and just couldn't get myself to the point to it's all in the mind.
Yeah, it's training. Mental. Yeah.
And I just can't get myself back there. So I am back to running in the mornings, 3 miles, 3.5 miles in the morning. So I'm trying to build myself back up. So most days I'll do 3 miles before I go to work.
Outstanding.
Oh, that is outstanding. There's no way. I can barely.
There's a way because you looking at somebody that, I didn't want to sweat.
Okay. I don't want to sweat either. That's the whole point. But we don't talk about that. Maybe you can encourage me to get out there. I don't know. My knees are bad. I don't
Well,
know.
yeah, if your knees are bad, then don't. Because
Yeah.
I'm running outside on the
Yeah.
on the pavement, on the
Yep.
sidewalk, so it's really not good.
Yeah.
But you have to have good shoes. The wrong shoes will give you back problems, leg problems, and it's difficult. It's a big
Oh,
difference
yeah.
between running outside and running on a treadmill.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to do it.
Right.
Yeah, they're not
even on the track, because most of the tracks got that nice soft composite.
correct.
Mhm.
Correct. But that whole running around, that just doesn't do it for me. I'm not going to say I love to run, but I've never finished a run and been like, man, I really shouldn't have done that. Right. I always feel good after the run. It's getting up. But one of the things that gets me moving is being out and seeing the scenery, right?
Yeah.
And being around. I can't do a treadmill. I'm ready to get off the treadmill after like a half a mile. I have to really push myself to stay on a treadmill. And I don't like the track because you're just going around and around.
I'm a track man. I like the
Yeah.
track.
I actually run out in the neighborhoods and, sometimes I don't even have a path mapped out. I will just meander. And I just have miles in mind that I want to do.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not for everyone. It's hard on your body to run out on the streets like that.
Well, I'm impressed because, like I said, I didn't see that coming, and the fact that you did it and you stayed consistent with it is mind blowing. Because I quit.
I like to eat though.
Yeah.
I like to eat, so I gotta exercise.
Gotta exercise.
Okay. All right. So a foodie. She's a foodie, and something you're not, Al
Oh
Jones.
no!
Not
You tell me I eat like an adult child.
Up the Kraft macaroni, and I was like, oh,
yes, that was you. Yes, we had that conversation.
Child.
But he likes Kraft macaroni.
That hurt my feelings.
I know it hurt your feelings, but this man is not a foodie.
I'm not.
He likes all the simple things in life.
Simple.
You know.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah, but you know what though? When I go out, see, I would love to go out with you to just eat because. Even my Kiana's the same way. We will try anything at least once, right? Not this one. It better come to the plate looking like something he's had before. Because if it doesn't look like a thing he's had before, he ain't trying it. You know?
Oh no!
Smell,
we need to do that.
Texture. If it's sauce, cute. I don't need your sauce. No.
What kind of foods you like? What kind of foods do you like?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Just about anything. So I'm that person that if I travel someplace, I'm not eating at a chain restaurant. I'm not eating any place that I can get that food if I'm in Charlotte or whatever.
Yes,
so,
yes.
I immediately want to know from the locals, where do you go to eat when you want to, go out to eat? If I'm in New York, and this is really cheesy, but I can probably count on one hand how many times I've been back home to New York that I did not go to BBQs. I love Dallas BBQs.
Okay.
That's
we
a
don't
soul
have
food place, right?
Down here. So, I've got to have my Dallas BBQs. But I like all types of food. I'm going to try, except for Indian food. Let me put that out there. I do not like East Indian food. I can't stomach the smell of that curry. But I love West Indian curry. Okay. So I'm going to try, just about anything. As long as it is something local, I want to know what is, popular here in this area. I've even tried, I think it's cheese curd on French fries in Canada. That's a poutine. Poutine, I think is what it's called. It's not good.
But you tried it.
But I tried it because that's what they eat there. I will not try lutefisk though. That's the Minnesota fish, and I don't think it's cooked. It's maybe with lemon juice or something. So it's basically raw fish, and it apparently has a really bad smell. I'm not gonna try that. But I will I do like to eat different stuff. Even here in Charlotte, I don't eat at chain restaurants. If there's a new restaurant opening, I'm going to do that. There's a brand new Cuban restaurant that's not too far from here that opened up. I love it. When you step inside the restaurant, you look like and I've never been to Havana, but we've all seen pictures and everything. You swear that you're in Havana when you walk into this restaurant. So I like a variety of food. I can't say that there is one that's my favorite. If I had to pick, probably seafood is one of my top choices. And I do like sushi, but mostly the cooked, not the raw. Not too many of the raw ones. But I'm gonna try just about anything as long as it's, you know, not an ordinary run-of-the-mill chain. Like fast food, I rarely eat fast food.
Yeah, I agree. I
Does
don't
that
like
mean
fast food.
you also like to cook, or you prefer eating out?
So I do like, and here's the thing, I'm a good cook, and I do like to cook, but since it's just me, I don't cook a lot. I just assume go out and eat, right? When I lived in the apartments when I first moved here, I cooked all the time because I had a little posse, I'll call it, and we played poker and we hung out, and the guys learned that I could cook. So they would be like, "Hey, did you cook? Can I have a plate?" So I literally would cook for, you know, 5, 6 people, and shop for food and stuff. Like I have a family to feed. But I've moved from that apartment, and to me, it's just as easy to just go out and, you know, get a meal. So I don't cook that much.
Okay.
But I can cook.
Okay.
And I do like experimenting. I'm that person that'll get a recipe and I will follow it the first time, but the next time I make that, I'm not following that because I got to put my own little, you know, spin on it. But I need the basic first. But I can cook without a recipe pretty decently.
Yeah, of course. I've been cooking for a long time, but I cook the same foods because he's a simple
AJ ain't gonna eat it.
Exactly. You know, but
Kiana will.
Yeah, but when Kiana was living here before she got married, we cooked together. So we would make, because you know, we both like fish and all of the stuff, right? But she's not here. Like you said, my house is almost an empty house. And it's right now it's AJ and it's our grandson. And,
Isaiah is not leaving his grandfather.
My boy.
He's not leaving his grandfather.
I love him.
I don't think he is. I really don't think he is. I really don't. But so now I cook for both of them. And you know, and I don't, and Isaiah will eat what I cook. He'll eat what I cook, but Isaiah also likes like wings. Al doesn't like chicken wings, right? But I'll make chicken wings for Isaiah. Al don't like chicken wings. But you know.
So did you like make separate meals like when everyone was in the house? Here and Kiana and Isaiah. So here you are cooking separate meals for everybody.
Yes.
What you do.
Absolutely.
But the staples, you can kind of keep the staples, but you got to cook the other stuff for everybody to have their own thing. I'm allergic to shellfish, so I don't eat no fish.
How are you that much fun? You don't get what?
Peter, and you know what though? I keep trying to get him to try my salmon. That's my favorite salmon, right?
She got it right here, Karen. She got the fork right here. I said,
it's like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm telling you.
You not like salmon.
I know. I figured that's the mildest, I think, of all the fish that I could offer him.
But I'm going to do it once. I'm going to do it.
Oh, my God. So what do you eat? Just steak and potatoes?
Right? Chicken,
steak, rice, pastas.
A lot of pasta.
Yeah.
How did I not know this? All that good food that we used to have in my conference. How did I not know that
because you never watched me get the plate. You don't remember what they said? They used to tell me that they ain't gonna. What did they tell me? They said, AJ, we're gonna take your black card. I don't eat fried chicken. Nope. I don't eat collard greens.
Nope.
Okay.
I'll be like, they just look at me.
Greens. I'm new to collard greens, and my father actually didn't eat any chicken at all.
Wow.
So I'm like, how are you a black man from the South? He got teased about that all the time. No chicken, no fowl, no poultry whatsoever.
I'm surprised. Okay.
So on Thanksgiving, we always had 2 main meats because he's not eating the turkey. Yeah. But maybe because I was too busy working at MI, I rarely sat down and had a plate.
Yeah, you was always working. Yes.
How did I not know you're not eating?
No, but he ate the same thing. He eats the same thing he's always eaten from the time I met him. So if you would have sat down next to him, he would have had some chicken on that plate and some pasta and some rice and barely any vegetables. He only started
meatballs
eating
if they had them. Yep.
You know, right.
I eat like I'm at a buffet.
Wow. Poor Karoline.
You know,
I've been saying that since the day I met you.
it don't, it don't bother me anymore. It really doesn't. It really doesn't.
Oh, that's too funny.
All right, so let's talk about your traveling because you're a frequent traveler. Let's talk about that because I promise
World
you,
traveler.
every single time I look and see you on Facebook, you have come back from somewhere or about to go somewhere. It is like this girl, I'll be like, this girl, stay on the go.
Stay on the go. I always say I live vicariously through her.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
And I call her my jet-setting socialite is what I call you.
Yeah. I mean, some of the trips are by accident. I have a problem saying no. If I can fit it in, I mean, I've done stuff like come back from one trip today and then 2 days later I'm gone again. And I don't care if it's, I prefer international travel, but I will fly anywhere to go. And I think part of it is I never really liked living in North Carolina. So any chance I get, I'm gone. And I believe I work hard.
Yes.
Yes,
and
you
so
do.
I want to enjoy, right? And I get such joy out of going different places and meeting different people. I think you get a better appreciation of, life, what you have.
Oh yeah.
Find out something else that you can aspire toward, right? And I think that you just broaden your whole mind, your whole existence by learning something about somebody else in another culture.
I
right?
agree.
So I just enjoy it. And in the most exotic place I can go, I want to do it. I want to go. Now there are places that, I've gone multiple times. And there are places like, oh, I never need to go there again, but I'm constantly looking for the next place to go, the next thing to do. I just think people that get outside of their city, their state, have a broader mind and a bigger tolerance level and appreciation of others.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
So now, like I said, you're my jet-setting socialite. All of a sudden, this thing, COVID-19 comes, the pandemic comes and shuts the world down. What happened to you during that time?
Yo, I went through I think I was a little depressed. Because, not only is it traveling, right? I'm also with a group here. My friend, you probably seen Keith and I would go out and eat, my girlfriend Tangi would do something. And so then COVID hits and you're afraid to even, go anywhere. I was going stir crazy in here. And part of it was I had just started this new job.
Okay.
I started in the middle of November and we were home and locked in by like the third week in February. So brand new job. It was a promotion at the time. So I'm stuck trying to learn this job and navigate, and it's new. And then the world is falling apart. So I think I had a meltdown. And then the whole George Floyd, situation. So I can't travel. I'm working like crazy. I'm here by myself. That was torture.
Yeah.
It was torture. I really think that, and I was trying to hold myself together because you can't let go. I think as Black folk and then Black women,
women,
that strong Black woman, which I think is a myth. I think it's abuse. But
I agree.
But I'm trying to, I think self-consciously we try to live up to that, because if I break down, I feel like I have people that I support. If I break down, how's that going to happen? And so, it was tough. It was tough. And I can remember when, we broke the ranks and got on a plane and traveled and all the, the COVID tests. And I mean, I was one of those first ones like, oh, planes are moving. I'm out. Let's go. I remember taking we had to wait online and get the COVID test. And didn't know if that was coming back in time. So we went and took another COVID test over here and, down to the wire. But like, we getting on that plane, we going.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah, that was torture.
A scary time too.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of nervous getting back on a plane after it, but you
got to do what you got to do. I still wear my mask on the plane though. Yeah. I mean, I don't wear it outside and everything now, but once I get on the plane, I have an N95 mask that I still wear on the plane. I just bumped it down to the KN95.
Yes.
But because you don't know who's sitting next to you, and so many people were like, and I'm in North Carolina, so they didn't believe that it existed here. And people will know that they have it and still go out. So I protect myself, but I'm gonna get on that plane.
Did you contract the virus at all?
I did not. Knock on wood.
Okay.
Knock on wood. Yes.
Yeah.
I wasn't so lucky.
Yeah, we weren't lucky. we got all the way to the end before we decided to get it.
Really? Yeah, I did not. And I went to the Outer Banks last year, and my roommate caught it. And we were in the same room, same bed. And I was a nervous wreck. But I did not. I took like 3 COVID tests. She took one as soon as we left, and she's like, "It's COVID." I'm like, "Take it again. Take it again." Again, same thing. And I just couldn't believe it. And I did not get it. But I also wasn't up in everyone's face. Like, I sleep just staying still. So I was faced, the other way. So I've had about 2 instances where I've been around someone that later on I found out they had it. Mm-hmm. But I was also one of those ones taking tests, a lot. I probably got expired tests here, but I did not contract it. And I kind of stayed in because I was scared.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you didn't get it. Well, me and Al had it. I got it from Al. Al got it from going to a party. But the thing that, he was only sick for one day. I was not so lucky. But he was sick for one day. That's why nobody thought about it. He was sick one day, and then the next day
he was sick. Fine. That's the issue. Yeah.
Wow.
Right. The next day he was fine.
The end after the vaccinations and everything were out, and that's a blessing. I mean, if I have to catch it, I'm glad we've got the vaccine because it was a scary thing sitting at home. Surprise.
Yeah. I'm glad
I wasn't scared. I was kind of like those people you talking about in North Carolina. This is when I got scared. When they made you line up outside the supermarket for food. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Wait a minute. You don't eat but 5 things. What's going on here?
Wow.
I went to the store with her.
I'm a hoarder. I got that. I think I inherited that from my father. Like, we never ran out of anything in the house. And we always had a deep freezer, living in an apartment, a deep freezer full of meat. Mm-hmm. I have a deep freezer in my garage. Yes. I loaded up that freezer. The freezer in the my refrigerator in the kitchen was I legit had enough food to last for months without going. Like, the only thing I would need to do is, like the stuff that was spoiled, the breads and stuff like that. Yeah. But I legit had enough food in here to feed a family for months. I still have meat in the freezer that I purchased, during that time. I don't need to clean it out now, but I hoarded food. I just hoarded. I had canned goods. I ate well, and I gained a hell of a lot of weight.
That COVID spread.
That COVID spread. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Can we change gears here for a minute?
Yes, please. What do you want to talk about?
So as I said, we crossed paths in the mid-90s. And we came through a wonderful organization called Minority Interchange.
Yes.
And I want to know, what did that organization do for you? Why did you believe in it? And why did you ride so hard for it? Because you were one of the key figures in that organization that inspired me to want to get better and do better in my own life.
Yeah.
Wow. I think it was, so let me take myself back. I was working at New York Life at the time, New York Life Insurance Company. And that's where kind of the mothers were. We had the Evelyn Wilsons, the Elaine Rogers.
Elaine Rogers, oh God.
Yes, Greg Batson, Peggy Carter. And they, at that time, I don't know how I got selected, because back then you were lucky, right? If you got selected to go to the conference. And I got selected to go to the conference. And I just remember my first conference experience. And I was like, wow, I want to make sure that I come back here again. So when I went back, I joined the local chapter at New York Life. And I don't remember where or how, but somehow I got selected to be on the board. And I think I ended up back at the conference again for something or some reason. And I got a peek inside the boardroom where they were all sitting around. The Gail Crawford.
Room where it happened.
Yes. The Connie Dillons. The Jeanette Greens. They were in there. Irene, Ireland, all sitting around. I had to go in there to see somebody or give something to somebody. And I'm like, wow, this is where it's going on. I'm like, get back. And I think my first, I don't even remember how I got to be the treasurer, but the treasurer is a spot I don't know, it takes a special person. And once you get a treasurer, no one else seems to want to take that job.
No, so you're the treasurer for life.
Basically. And I think I needed to fill in for someone. And because of the people that I met, right? Because I'm just starting out and we're looking at, what we considered our Black excellence, right? These were movers and shakers in the company. They were executives in the company. And the fact that they taught us how to exist. And I think the tagline that really pulled me in was, it's the unwritten rules. These are the rules that the whole company moves by, works by, but no one is going to tell you. I'm going to let you know, right? We're the ones that we aren't going to be told what's going on. And I think that pulled me in because I felt like it gave me tools, and I'm looking at these guys, your executives, and that's where I want to be. Yeah. That's what I aspire to be. And then I ended up winning the Constance O'Garretson Award one year.
Yep.
And that was fabulous. My father flew up to come and, go. And by the time this was going on, I think it may have been an anniversary year. So it was like a black tie type thing. Yeah. I'm like, wow, I won, So I'm like, I got to be involved. I just have to be involved. Yeah. And ended up being the treasurer. And then when we split off and we did the foundation, I was the treasurer of that. I begged for help and no, like, no.
You got it.
Yeah. And I remember I would do those I felt like I was just the warden of the money.
Yes, you were.
Because if your voucher was not properly filled out, no, you were not getting a check. And you weren't getting things by me. Things are going to be right. I'm taking care. I took it seriously. And some of my mentors, Jeanette was one of my mentors. Connie was one. We're still a lot of people that I met from back then. We still interact and we're friends. You guys, I think Minority Interchange was doing a wonderful thing back then. Yeah. We were bringing up some very talented individuals. They were pouring into us. They were teaching us the things that no one taught them, and I think that we owed it to, once you got in, you owed it to yourself and to your culture to pass it on.
Pass it on, yes.
Yeah. I was really sad once it no longer was a thing, right?
Me too.
And I'm not sure why it fell out. Is it because we got better at it? No, I don't think so. I just think that diversity was the buzzword back then. And these companies we were an easy mark for them to check off on their diversity box. And I think they just found a different way to do it. But
right. They started incorporating it into their own system and making Minority Interchange or Minority Foundation, making it obsolete.
Absolutely.
They took our platform
and
Absolutely.
expanded. Yeah.
They
And I will
put
say
in.
that for my company, PSC&G, you know, we Minority Interchange was that place. We had the gay and lesbian, we had the Asian, we had the Hispanics, and of course we had the blacks. And then when the companies got into that EBRG world, now the Hispanics had their own thing. The gay and lesbian had their own thing. Now, why would I come and support your thing when I got my own thing that is really specific to my, you know, my walk of life? So I wasn't mad about it, but I just watched all the talent that we had accumulated start to diminish as they went off to their own, fight their own battles. So I tried PS because we have the national chapter and then we have the PS chapter. I found a dynamic young executive coming up. I saw him at a meeting. I grabbed Rodney Brown. We went and tapped him, said, yo, we need you to be our executive sponsor. He had no idea what it was. Brought him into a meeting. He went crazy. He's like, I'm all in. And we had him for 2 years. But as you said, at that point, we were starting to go the other way. I went to his office. You know, I didn't make an appointment. I just went up there. I said, is Scott here? He said, yeah. I went into his office. I said, listen, we got to have a chat, man. I said, you're on the way up. I said, this would be a negative blight on your resume. You don't need this. I said, I'm at the point now where I'm ready to pack it up and shut it down. And he was like, no, go talk to HR. So I did go to HR. And what they said is, we called it sunsetting. And when they say they sunset something, that means they stop it from being an active thing and they kind of tuck it away, put it on the shelf. This way, if it ever got a chance to revitalize, all the structure is there. And that was one of the hardest days of my life, boy. I just remember that. So,
but I mean, it did a good thing. I mean, I'm thinking back, I got 2 jobs because of MI. That's how I ended up at TIAA at a place called CS First Boston. And I was on the New York chapter board. And Jose and Peggy and Elaine and all of them were at we're at New York Life, and they took my resume and put it in, and that's how I got the job at New York Life because of my MI connection. And then I ended up getting a job with teachers in the audit department. I had gotten laid off, and because remember back in those days, we were always looking for the next Black executive to be a speaker. Yeah. So this one year, it was TIAA's opportunity to bring in the Black executive. And I can't remember his name right now. His name just passed by. But anyway, he was the chief auditor. And I reached out to him to, do the speaking engagement, and he accepted. So, of course, I was the one that was there to welcome him, him and his wife and everything. And we built a relationship. He wanted to meet with me when we went back. He was in New York and I was already down here in North Carolina. And he was the chief auditor. When he came to North Carolina, he's walking around the office. Where's Karen Everett's office? How does he know you? And he wanted to take me out to lunch. Yes. We went to lunch and he said, I want you to come and work for me in internal audit. And my thing was like, no, I don't want to be an auditor. At that time, I was in the business, not in audit. And, we don't look at auditors very well.
Right.
Lo and behold, maybe a few months later, or maybe up to a year later, I got laid off. And so he was one of the ones that I sent my home. I already had his home information because we had been meeting and talking. But I sent him a message, hey, today's my last day, blah, 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 blah. And he responded, what? I'm going to call you, at home tonight. And he called me and he said, don't do me a favor and don't put your resume out there, because I have a feeling if you put your resume out, you're going to be swiped up. I want an opportunity at you. And I'm like, what?
Wow.
So, PS, within 2 weeks, I ended up back in the organization that had laid me off, but in the internal audit department.
Okay.
And that was a direct result of MI, because I would have never had FaceTime with him had it not been for MI.
Yeah.
So, MI was responsible for me getting 2 of the corporate jobs that I got. So I
also you put the work in. We would go to the workshops. We wouldn't just go there and then disappear. We reached out. We interacted with the people. We got involved. We got our hands dirty.
We did. And to me, the payoff was, you know, the stories that I just told you, being at the table with the leadership, and what, traveling, because what did we do every quarter? We had meetings, and I always had to get on a plane and travel for the meetings. So, you know, I ran and repped hard for the organization because I got a lot out of it, and I was very passionate about it.
Yes.
Yeah. It's time for a reunion. I've been saying that for the last year.
Yes.
It's time for a reunion. I will tell you that I, like Al said, once it started to go down, I was really disappointed because I had just made it to the board.
Yeah.
And that was a feat, right? Because
that was a feat. Yes.
Yes, I had just made it to the board and was hoping that I would have an opportunity to even be vice president or president. You know what I'm saying? But you know what? And it's so funny because my affiliation with MI, like you said, affected every part of my life. It's even affected the part of my life now as I'm getting more involved with union stuff and the stuff that's happening, because, you know, I work in the school system. As I'm getting more involved in going to these conferences, and now I'm part of what we call in our union, for the teachers union, the members of color, and it reminds me so much of MI. And we've only been in existence since 2019, and I'm like, this is really, and so for me, I'm getting all this remembrance of how I participated in the MI stuff. So I'm just really on top of the world right now, you know.
Oh, that's good. I mean, I think it's safe to say that if you gave it half a chance, right?
Yeah.
What you got back was tenfold.
Exactly.
Yes. I mean, we worked hard. We did a lot of work. Those conferences were a lot to put together. And we partied hard.
Yes.
You know, it was everything all in one. I mean, I would change anything to make sure I was available for the conference time, right? I mean, and during that time, like, I worked a lot because I was usually part of the venue, you know, planning it, all of the finances for it. You know, you guys are out partying and having a good time. I'm stuck in a room writing checks.
I remember.
Filling out vouchers and like, y'all gonna get your vouchers to me by X day, because other than that, you know, we put in a lot of work, and I'm proud of what we did. I'm proud of you know, the product that came out of it, and it was impactful. It really, really was.
I think so, because look at us, right?
Yeah.
And I had my last guest was that I actually
that's right.
Renee Marshall
McKinley.
Oh, my Nene. That's, I call her my Nene.
Yes. And she was someone else that I met through MI and through Prudential. And we talked briefly about how those relationships have stuck. And I can't even really put words to it, because it might change my life.
Absolutely.
You know, and so and I'm so grateful for all of the friendships that came out of that. And I will tell you that, you know, he's still friends with half of the people that he's met through MI, and we get together occasionally, and it's really, that's how I know them. I know them through the MI network.
The crazy thing is, because we have public service in Prudential right there downtown Newark, and she worked at Prudential, I worked at PS. Half the folks at Prudential thought I worked at Prudential. Half the folks at public service thought she worked at public service, not realizing it was the affiliation through the MI chapters that I got to see and know all these people. And I was just at a walk Saturday for Eric LeGrand. He was the Rutgers football player that got paralyzed. Now he has a big function that he does. And so I'm sitting up in the stands getting ready for the kickoff, and I see a guy on the field with a camera. I'm looking at him. I'm like, I know him. I said, that's how he turned and looked at me. I looked right at him because the crowd was empty. And I looked at him. I said, I know you. And I'm sitting probably 15 rows up. He looks at me. I said, Harold. Right now he goes, I said, AJ. He's like, I'm going to talk to you. You can see.
Oh, wow.
And that's an MI connection.
Yeah. I mean, we did. I can remember, you know, people having parties and functions. We're traveling to go there. Some of the leadership would go to other chapters to run trainings and workshops. And I mean, it was big. I remember when I was living in New Jersey, and the career conference was down the block at one of the conference centers there. I had the happy hour at my house. I was like so excited to host, the board to come down, to my house and just hang out and everything. I mean, we made some really good connections. I still converse with a lot of people. I ended up at one point, I went to Jeanette's house. I flew out to Minneapolis. It was the first time I've ever been to Minneapolis because she was one of my mentors and we got really close. I flew and went to her house for the weekend. Like that was a vacation for me. To go hang out. And I loved how it was our community, because if you were caught doing something wrong, you got your little coattail pulled. I can remember plenty of times Gail Crawford would like, Miss Karen, come here.
That sound like her.
To do something, and I would hate to have Gail tell me to come, because it always equated to me taking on another role or doing something else. These are the people that, Connie could get me to do anything. Like Connie and Gail and Jeanette. It's like, no matter what it was, I'd want to say no. I might leave cursing, but they, whatever they asked me to do,
we're going to do it.
But she had a lot of respect for them too.
We revered them, and it was it was our village. I'm afraid to do something to disappoint them. Type of thing. So,
that was wonderful to hear that. I loved it, Maya. It was beautiful, and I'm just grateful we crossed paths with you during that time.
Me too. Absolutely. So, who's working on the reunion? Who's gonna,
Well, it's funny. It's funny you should say that, because I mentioned it a few times. And the last person I talked to about a reunion was Katrina, and she said that she was going to reach out to others. Now, Al, I think you talked to somebody.
You remember Terry Howard?
Yes.
So Terry called me out the blue, and she said, "Listen, she said we're trying to put the feelers out and see if we could do something." She said, "Would you be interested?" I said, "I don't know why you asking me. All you got to do is call me and tell me what you need me to do." She said they were trying to do something in remembrance of Gail also. So they wanted to do like a reunion / memorial.
That would be
awesome. The impact that Gail had on quite a few of us.
Absolutely.
So, but that was probably a couple of months back, honey?
That was
a month
couple
ago?
Of months back,
Yeah, so it has bubbled up a few times, but now it seems like it's getting more serious, because
we need to really do that.
We do.
So
we
just got to get the names of the people together, and then maybe have some sort of call, and then just try to put something together. And again, in reference of MI, we ain't trying to put on no hokey dokey. We go down the street to the local bar.
No.
We want to go somewhere we can have a nice little function.
Put on our outfits.
That's right. It has to be elegant, because MI was about elegance.
Yeah, man.
And I'm telling you, when I went to an MI conference, it was like, okay, I'm gonna have to go get me an outfit. I was always dressed to the nines, because when I first saw the conference and people going, they were in ball gowns. They were dressed to the nines, and that's what I love. I love that. I love the idea of the elegance.
That year, I remember I was in Macy's down on 34th Street, girl, looking for my dress to wear.
That's right. Yes. That's right.
Yes.
And I think I wore that dress once. I think I had nervous weight loss because I was as thin as a rail. I think that dress is hanging up in my mother's closet, because I ended up never being able to put that dress on again.
That's okay. That's all right. But you wore it that one time and you look lovely.
Well, thank you. But we do need to we need a committee together and spearhead it and really get a reunion going, because that would be awesome.
Yes.
All right. So people.
Yes. So to all of my MI people who might be listening to this podcast, just reach out to the person each one reach out to someone else. Let's get this thing popping. Now we're at the end of our hour, but before we go, Karen, I want you to And, you know, AJ too, I want you to tell the listening audience how they can live their best life. What does that feel like? Because I'm telling you, when I see the two of you, I know the two of you are living your best life because y'all been living your best life for a long time. But this is a season of joy. I want to bring joy back. I want everyone to feel joyous. So give us some examples. Tell me, talk to me.
And it's funny that this comes up because on Facebook, my friend just tagged me 10 days, 10 pictures that bring you joy, you know, to live your life or whatever.
All right now.
It's funny how, you know, things just line up. But what brings me joy and living my best life, and it's dangerous, but it's what works for me. I'm going to shop. I'm going to get what I want, and I'm going to catch a flight somewhere.
All right.
And so, you know, you just got to make sure that you carve out time for yourself because life is heavy. You know, we work. I put in a lot of hours. People question if I work because I'm gone so much. But I'm blessed to have a decent job that allows me to work remotely sometimes. And so I don't have kids. So I can splurge, right? I'm not saving for college or anything. So I find the things that make me happy: a nice glass of wine, a nice dinner, getting on a plane someplace, my family, you know, my kids, and I'm using air quotes because they're really my nephew and my niece, but you know, they're mine, right?
They're yours.
And so those are the things that make me happy. Family, friends, you know, traveling, just enjoying, kicking back and making sure that you take care of yourself. Because, you know, enjoy it. We're only here once, right?
That's right. That's right. Now, AJ, what about you? What do you do?
You know me, I'm simple.
I
For
know,
me,
but they don't know you.
It's all about having fun. People, when I go to work, they ask me, do you ever work? Because I tell them no. I said, I come to work to have fun. When I leave here, I go to work. And so I've always tried to maintain that kind of mindset. Like I never wanted the job to be that thing that weighed on me so heavy. That's why I was able to do these 40 years without even blinking because it didn't seem like I was working. But you hit the nail on the head. Family is always important because at the end of the day, we're all, just like you said about MI, how we're a part of that lineage. Family, we're a part of that line. I know how close you were to your father. I know that death had an incredible impact on you, but I see how you and your mom's rolled. And if it was heavy for you, I know it had to be equally heavy for her. You keep Mom Dukes looking well, keep her nice and tight out there traveling.
I'm following her. Hey,
I like that. And your niece and your nephew, they doing well. We ain't even talking about your brother who's out there. He got big shoes to follow because he got to follow sis. So family is important, and I love the fact that you give them their own space to do their own thing, to be their own people. It's not about dictating their lives. It's about putting the framework around them, giving them that foundation, and then letting them go do their thing. And then lastly, for me, hands down, without question, a day in my life without music is a day full of death. I have got to have music, whether I'm listening to it, whether I'm playing it, whether I'm sitting in the seat watching the show. The way you love to travel, I would travel around the world and just sit in concert venues just to see music because that would be thrilling for me. So those are the things that keep me happy.
I'm still waiting for my tape, but I ain't gonna go there.
Yeah, I tried to keep that. I was trying to keep that on the low.
Okay, all right.
Okay, somebody breaking promises.
Still waiting for my tape, but and before we go, I just want to let you guys know that, you know, I stalk too on Facebook, and I really admire the family connection, right? I joke with AJ, he's a complete nut. That's not a joke. He is a nut. But I do love the way that everything is displayed in pictures. Like your family unit, I absolutely love it, right? No matter what's going on, it's a Jones event, right? The pictures, you know, everyone. And I feel like, and I think I may have met Kiana maybe once, but I feel like I know Kiana. I feel like I know Isaiah. I feel like I know, you know, AJ Jr. So I love the way that you guys love and display family. That's touching. And I don't say that lightly when I say that, you guys are one of my favorite couples. As AJ has pointed out, it's been since, the end of the 90s.
We go
and
back.
It's like, you guys are one person. Like, I look at you, I'm like, damn, they look alike. You guys are, it's that tight. It is that tight. And I admire that.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that.
We feel the same way about you.
Yeah, that's how I get my joy, by the way. My joy comes through my family. Everybody who knows me knows that my joy comes through my family. But I'm going to give all the credit to Al when it comes to displaying. He is I tell him he's our documentary person.
That's what I do.
He spends his whole life documenting this family. And I sit in awe sometimes when I look and I see the layers. It started out with just me and him, and then Kiana, and then me, him, Kiana, and AJ, and then here come little Isaiah, and now we have Naomi. I'm like, our family's growing now. Our family's growing, and I love it. Yes. But yeah, he documents everything. Sometimes I don't like it because it's like, okay, no, that picture.
I can see some of the pictures. It's like you probably just halfway killed him right before.
Yes.
I can see it. But I love it. Like, I felt like I was at Kiana's wedding. Hello, can we talk?
Yes. Oh my God, I love it.
I have a simple model, Karen. It goes like this. I don't care if you don't want to take the picture. This picture is not for you because you're going to leave this world and people are going to want to know about you. And you know how they're going to know about you? By that damn picture I took.
Yeah,
now
that's
sit
true.
down and smile.
You just ruined it by cursing them out to take the picture. See, did I start by saying AJ was crazy?
That's what I tell you. Sometimes you got to take it there. They'd be like, my face ain't right. I'm like, sit down, shut up, and smile and take the picture.
Why'd you post that picture? I look awful. Look how fat I look. Oh my God, Al.
They don't know that, you need to adopt that he can't post the picture at least until you see it and give you an opportunity to take it over if you don't like.
Lately, I'm going to give him some credit again. Lately, he shows me, he goes, this is the one I'm going to use, okay? Which one? This one or that one? Because
you're doing a good job, Caroline. You're
seriously, I'm telling you.
I'm slipping.
I gave him 20 stars, right? Right? I gave him 20 stars.
Like, damn, what they do on that vacation? What did they do? Even Penny said that. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's right. I forgot.
That's right. But he has come a long way. I like to give credit where credit is due. And he's been great. You know what I think? I don't think it's me. I think it's little Naomi. That's what I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think Naomi.
It's radiating and it's coming out. I mean, I've known you guys way back when, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right.
This has been fun.
See, I told you there's no reason to be nervous. We're just having a candid conversation, right? Isn't this fun?
This was.
Okay.
So you have to make sure you send me the link. Because I was out with my girlfriend tonight. We left work and I was like, let's go out to eat. But I only got 2 hours because I had to be home by 7 o'clock. So I told her what I was doing and she's like, well, let me know how that turns out.
Yeah, see, I'm so glad glad you came on. And when I told Al I wanted to start this series, right? Because it was going to be all about fun and about joy and about living your best life. He said it. He goes, well, then the first person you need to get on this podcast is Karen.
Oh my goodness.
And I was like, oh my God, you're right. You're absolutely right. So, and I told him, and
looking at your anniversary pictures, and then I get this, I'm like, what is she talking about?
Yeah, because it was just that fast. It was just that fast in that moment. I was like, you're absolutely right. Yep. I picked up my phone and I didn't have your phone number because we don't change phones so many times that your phone number, but I knew I could catch you on Facebook. So I said, I did my little thing and I got to you. You're like, well, okay. I told Al, I said, she in. She in. He's like, what? I'm like, she's in.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah.
She said, and you're going to be my co-host. I said,
That's right. We're going to make it more fun. I was like, is that even a word? More fun? More funner? More funner?
Make it up. That's part of life. Dude, every word was made up from something.
Yes. So we're going to have more funner.
Yeah, this was awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming. And I want to thank my guests for listening. You've been listening to, in case you don't know, you've been listening to Real Talk with Real People, a candid conversation with me, your host, Dr. Karoline Bethea-Jones, and my co-host tonight, Mr. Alban Jones Sr., and of course my guest, the fabulous Karen Everett. We want to thank you for joining us, and I will see you again next time. Thank you all.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
much.
You guys have a good night.
Okay.
Bye.